to come back alive is to straighten out what actually happened on Pizarro's platform, because there seems to be a little confusion, and I want it to be clear why I just dragged ghetto intellect on my wall. Ghetto, you got dragged because you said that I was mentally ill. So either you think that I was lying about what I said about Pastor Waller. Absolutely not. I don't have to lie about anything as it pertains to Pastor Waller, so he's allowed to tell you that I'm mentally ill. But see, Ghetto, I try not to move when I'm angry. But you went too far. And see, the thing is the folks over there at 2800 West Cheltenham Avenue and 230 West Coulter Street, they already know that when I get angry, see, they already know. You don't know because you don't know me. And for some strange reason, I don't know why you think I'm lying. You're allowed. You're really allowed to say that I made up. You're allowed to, Ghetto. You are. And I don't really have to go down in the basement and pull out. I don't have to do that. The fact that I have it and can run downstairs real quick. Watch me, Ghetto. Watch this. Since you said I was lying, watch this, Ghetto. Or actually listen to it, because I ain't going to show no pictures. But I am going to show you something. Watch this, Ghetto. So I'm getting ready to turn my camera on, but I had to run downstairs to get it because it was downstairs in the dining room. It wasn't upstairs in my bedroom. So I had to run downstairs to get it. But I wanted to show, Ghetto, when you say that I'm a liar, right? See, liar means that you can't prove it. Let me turn my camera on. Hold on, y'all. I got to put a scarf or something on my head because I don't want nobody to say my hair not done. I don't walk around with a wig on at home. I like my hair to get air so that the little tiny bit of hair, tiny bit, that I got will be preserved. Hold on. Let me put my wig on. Now, Ghetto, you said, see, this is pay attention, pay attention. What's that? What's that? It looks like a what? A Bible folder that they don't give out no more, Ghetto. You know, when you say I'm a liar, two of these. Why do I have two of these, Ghetto? Why do I have two? Because one is mine and one is my son. See, you must have thought it was right. And if you want me to take in here what's out of here, okay. See, because I have programs in here. Let me show you, Ghetto. Let me show you. Because said I was when folk try to make me out to be a lie, I like to come with the truth. See, pay attention. What do it say on there? 2016. Right. I have not opened this Bible cover in 10 years. It's not something I open. When you say something about me, baby, I'm going to do what? You ain't going to never make me out to be no liar because you don't know the story. I told you that you didn't. And you're allowed to take up for your friend. But when you say stuff about me that's true, I'm going to prove it real quick. Oh, and Ghetto, one more thing that I have too. Guess what I have, Ghetto? Guess what I have? Well, it looked like an envelope to me. Pay attention. It looks like an old envelope. You see that? An old envelope. Where was it at? It was right here in the Bible cover. Right. See, the Bible cover. Because one of them does not have a Bible in it. The one that had a Bible in it was right. So see, when you tell folks that I'm lying about your friend, make sure you show them this video. Make sure you show them that. See, say something else whack about me, ghetto. Right. See that? I had it. It was downstairs. When I feel like going back down there, I'll take it back down there. But don't say stuff about me that's not true at all. Don't. You can if you want to. You can. You could say actually you could say whatever you want to say. The reason why I turned that on is because you were the one that were running around saying that I never went to the church and they don't give those out on Sunday. That must mean I was there at a time when they don't give those out anymore. You played yourself. I don't never ever have to prove to you, ghetto. That was specifically for you. That was specifically for you. See, two of them. See, because if you would have just said I had one of them, you don't get another one. And as a matter of fact, they don't even give them out no more. They don't even give them out no more. Right. So that must mean I was there a very. Did you see how long that program said 2016? Did you see that? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn back on my camera. And for anybody that missed it, because, when folks say I'm a liar, I'm gonna be whatever you want me to be, but a liar ain't gonna never be one of them. That's ain't gonna be. Let me see. Wait a minute, I gotta put my wig on. Hold on. See, when folks say stuff about me, I don't really care what you say or how you say it at all. A program that's 10 years old. And an envelope. Right. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting ready to open back up the program. I mean, open back up the thing. So, because folks be, when they say I'm a liar, right. Played yourself. I don't know why you let anybody tell you that I have told some type of lies on your friend up there, that I've never been to the church. I have something from my Sunday school from 2016. See, that's why when people be saying, Catherine, you're a liar, pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. What that say up there? 2016. What we in now? 2026. Pay attention. 2016. Right. This is how they used to give out their um questions and answers and stuff. It was in my Bible. I don't open my Bible, but it was in the case. Right. You see my name is at the top. I don't want y'all to see who the teacher was. That's why I'm covering her name. But yeah, you said that. Tithing envelope. Tithing envelope. Where would you get a tithing envelope from, ghetto? Where would you get one from? It was in my Bible thing, right? 2016. Do we not see the date on there? Right. See, when you want to say I'm something, I'm always out to prove that I'm not. For real. Yeah. All of that was in my all of that was in the jacket of my Bible cover. See, because all my Bibles up here they're in a bag. Multiple Bibles, even in this room. I've not touched my sister's, of course, but mine's over there and it's not in no cover. And I probably could have just let him say what he wanted to say and just not respond, or Catherine be a liar. Could be, but the fact that I would have something from 10 years ago, that would mean I was there. Because how would you get a program? And they might not do programs no more. Right. Pastor, while I wasn't trying to drag you or anything like that, that's not why I pulled out a program, and that's not what I was trying to do. Not trying to drag you at all. I just didn't like how somebody tried to make it seem like you're a fabrication or a made up to me when I'm sitting here with Bible covers, stuff from the Sunday school, uh, tithing envelopes, right? You know when folks say you wasn't really there, a program from 10 years ago. Not because I kept it, because I probably just put it in my cover, in my Bible cover, and put it away. A lot of times I go to church and I'll just put the program down somewhere and just keep right. So that's all that really was, Pastor Wall. That wasn't on me trying to hold on. Not at all. That's all that was. And you got dragged the way you did, Ghetto, because you really think that I wasn't there. And I just proved to you that I was. And I don't have to call names. This ain't roll call. I don't got to call none of them folks' name over there because they're not asking to be a part of my YouTube story life. No, they're not. Deacon, no, I'm not going to call your name. I'm trying to tell you, I ain't going to never call your name, Deacon. You know who I'm talking about. If you listen, I'm not going to call your name. That's not what this is. Ghetto always disrespect women, Deacon. Listen to what I'm telling you. He ain't got no, listen, he always disrespect women. Women lay down and have babies, but this clown over here disrespect. Women lay down and have babies, but Ghetto got the most disrespect for women. Always, in every situation. I'm not the only person who he's ever disrespected. He does it in the virtual world all the time. And he gets cussed out, but he still does it. But see, when you did it to me, see, they're virtual. They can clown you or whatever. See, the reason why I had to come real for a moment is because I really am here in the city, in the church in the city where the church is that I used to serve, while you were running around telling people that I ain't never been there. You're allowed to do that, Ghetto. You are. And I am allowed to come online and show people that I was what? I was there at a time. I ain't saying nothing about your membership. I don't really care. You're allowed to say what you want to say. But you can't keep clowning people because you think you know about what happened between me and Pastor Waller, and you really don't. It doesn't matter what he told you. I don't care what Pastor Waller told you, to be honest with you. I don't really care what he told you. I don't. I don't. I'm not trying to do too much beef sector content or beef with people. I don't really feel like that right now. See, Ghetto, you live for strife. You like the drama of what goes on in the beef sector. You do. You do. Because you're constantly doing things that bring drama. You know, like when you drove all the way down to Detroit to fight the mayor. And that could have ended up with you getting seriously hurt or something worse. See, you really don't think about the things you do. And Pastor Waller doesn't know that because he doesn't know what type of person you really are. I mean, I do, but he don't. And I ain't trying to tell him. For real, for real. I ain't trying to tell him how the impulsive stuff that you do at your age. You're too old to be impulsive. You're too old to be driving somewhere to go meet somebody to put your hands up. And that could have led with you either being arrested. It could have ended up numerous ways. See, you don't think about the things that you do, like you just did that just now. And see, I really can't say what I want to say because I have to consider that there are other people involved. But I could just throw the dirt at you, Ghetto. Right. Can you deserve for me to throw dirt at you? It wasn't about no $100. You came there and you said I was mentally ill, as if to say that what I said about Pastor Waller was a figment of my imagination. Not at all, Ghetto intellect. Not a figment. And you don't really, you never seen me in E9, so you can't speak to that. Happy birthday, Angela. Happy birthday, Roger. So what happened for you all that missed it, the reason why I'm over here is because Pizarro was having a live. I hit her link and I was talking about my birthday. So my birthday was this past Tuesday. And someone sent me a cash app directly on my birthday. So all I said to Ghetto, I'm gonna tell y'all what I said. I said, Ghetto, can I get that $100? That's exactly what I said, right? And then he started getting saucy in the chat, like he always does. But then he hit the panel. He started getting saucy in the chat before he hit the panel. And then he hit the panel, and for some strange reason, I don't know why Ghetto thought that I was going to not, I don't know why Ghetto didn't know that I would drag him for the facts of his life. See, I'm still being nice and not saying too much because there's other people to consider. But really, Ghetto, I don't owe you anything. You didn't have to come up there and talk about I was mentally ill. Like, you really think I'm making up being at E9. You sound goofy. That I just turned on my camera and proved to you that I got 2 Bible covers, programs from 10 years ago. Right. So see, you're allowed to take up for your frat brother. You can. But if you're going to take up for somebody, then you need to know all the facts of the story. Because either you thought that those Bible covers were a figment, they're not a figment of my imagination. They don't give them out anymore. See, you live for strife, and Pastor Waller don't know that. Don't really matter to me, seriously. And I say that and I mean that. It doesn't. See, because for the entire time that I have been around you, Ghetto, you always disrespect women and say the most egregious things to women and then want to talk about you married to one. I don't really care. See, I respect your choice of pretending like you're straight when you're not. I respect your choice. That's your business. But you went too far when you said I was mentally ill, because that therefore meant that you thought that I was making up what I said about your friend over there, Pastor Waller, and I wasn't ever making up anything. I don't have to. Right. I just wanted to clear that up. This wasn't about no $100 cash app. This was about Ghetto saying that I was mentally ill, trying to make it seem like I had never even been to E9. Right. That's what when you said I was mentally, right, you were as if somebody told you that. So I don't know whether Pastor Waller said I was mentally ill. I don't really care. That shouldn't have came out your mouth. It shouldn't have when your whole life is a lie. I'm not running around the streets of Philadelphia telling people that I'm straight and I'm not. I'm not right. See, when we put our lives up against each other, they're not the same. I'm not going to go to a fraternity with a bunch of men. Some of them are straight, gay, down low, whatever. That's your business. You played yourself. I don't care what you think Pastor Waller told you about me. He might have not ever told you the truth, and he might not ever. I don't really care. But when you say something about me as it pertains to him, you don't know the story. You don't. You know what he told you. But it doesn't really matter what he told you, because he might not never tell you the truth. But his wife, Ellen, knows. Of course she does. She does. And I'm not going to rehash it or open it back up. But Ellen knows the truth. And anybody else that's up there, Enoch, they know the truth. I'm not calling out anybody's names. Deacon, I ain't never going to call your name. I always tell you that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I've always called you just Deacon. You know who I'm talking about. You know that I'm talking about you. I ain't gonna put you on my wall either. I told you before that I like you and I respect you. I do mean that. And I ain't trying to drag you all's church. No, I'm not. But I don't like when folks say stuff about me that's not true. See, it's easy to get lied on. That's real easy. Alan don't never got to tell nobody, Pastor Waller don't ever really have to tell anybody anything at any time. But ain't no stranger off no internet gonna try to make it seem like I ain't never walked through your doors. Right. See, Ghetto, you played yourself to the maximum. You did. Played yourself. And you're always trying to be something on the internet that you're not to a bunch of virtual people. See, pay attention, Ghetto. In my real life, I strive to be important in my real life, not on the internet. In my real life, I strive to work hard for Jesus Christ. Not for people to know my name. No, I don't really care if folks don't know my name. Seriously. Because sometimes I'll just go in church and if they need something, I'll just help them. If they ask me what my name is, I'll tell them. But that don't mean I'm going to join their church. I don't always join people's churches. I might just help them, though, because it's a good thing to do. You should try that, Ghetto. Helping folks because it's a good thing to do. Folks don't always got to know your name. They don't. As the pastor here in Philadelphia, he has a church out there in West Philly. Every year he have this service. I'll fry up some chicken and take some chicken or some fish because that's what everybody in the church, he tell them before they have this service, everybody bring something. So if I'm going to show up, I ain't going to go in there and eat the man's food and don't bring nothing. I ain't a member of that man's church, but I go visit them from time to time. I do. Those folks out there know me. I go to plenty of churches here in Philadelphia. I do. And them folks know when I come to work. I don't come to play. See, that's typical example of the work that I do, that I would go to some. That man don't live nowhere near my house. I got to catch 2 or 3 buses to get there. And I'll catch the bus with the food. I sure do. And go right out there and give them people food and walk right away. Well, I go back to the service, but that's not the point. See, when you speak ill of me, make sure you speak ill with facts. I work plenty for God around here. It's just that when I worked for God over there, I'm not going to tell that story no more. I'm just telling you recently, as recent as last year, I couldn't do it this year. I showed up there with some fish and chicken. I did. Fried up 2 or 3 pans of fish and chicken, walked right through the door. They was having service. Him and his wife always know I'm coming. I ain't come this year. I couldn't make it this year. But that's not the point. That goes to a character reference that I'll go to anybody's church and work. Sure did when I was at Pastor Aiken Church here in Philadelphia. Worked there for 2 years. See, that's why when people say, listen, sometimes when folks say stuff about me, I'll get mad. And then sometimes when they say it, just I don't really care. Except for the fact I'm always working for God. I'll give people, right, see, right, everything I do don't always involve money. Those folks out there at that church out there in West Philly, when I take them fish and chicken, I don't ask for no reimbursement. I know that man well. He used to work for SEPTA. Now he got his own church and stuff. So I'd be glad to take, right, see, get, right. I have worked for God since I was a little girl. And I said it exactly like I meant it. Work for God. I've been at other people's churches. That's true. But see, you just made me over the top, angrily annoyed. Because if I were to read to you a part of my autobiography, says that I learned to love God when I was at the church that I grew up in. I was christened as a Methodist. And then went to another church before I got to the church where I grew up in. So I learned that every week we should be in church. That's what I learned. And that we should always do stuff for God. But when it comes time to something that requires money, see, pay attention, ghetto. When it requires money, see, it ain't required no money for me to take no fish and chicken out there. That really didn't. But if it's my gift, then I have to ask you for some money. See, folks, because what did the Bible say? A servant is worthy of his hire. I do stuff for people for free all the time. And I don't cry about it. Those are facts, and that is true. I haven't been to church since probably June of this year. I've been watching online and stuff like that. I have. I've been watching online. I don't have anything against going to church. I don't. But I have something against people that are hypocrites and people that are critical and people that sit in a place of judgment, Psalms 1. Or want to judge, but when it turns back on them, they don't want to be judged. Like you try to throw people that live in glass houses, ghetto, they should never throw stones. Because I just didn't really say all that I wanted to say for self-control. Because that made me overly top angry. Just now when you just called me mentally ill, you tried to make it seem like me saying what I said about Pastor Wilder was a figment of my imagination. Mostly every pastor that I sat under after the fact know that I was at his church. You just don't. Including Keith Wayne Reed out there at Sharon. Including Carlton Aiken. They all know that. So the fact that you don't know that, man, don't really matter. They all know that I was there. They all know that we fell out right. So it doesn't really matter what you would get on a virtual world and say. I worked in Pastor Aiken Church. I did. For 3 years. I worked in that man's church. I did. If you ever say, listen, if anybody were to ask him about me now, he probably say he don't know why I didn't come back. Cause I worked good in his church. I did. I was always there when they needed me. I was. So if anybody would say she only worked at E9, that would be a lie. I just was at Pastor Aiken's church. Was not there now. I exited stage left. No fallout. We didn't have no fallout. That's true. Pastor Aiken is family. Family don't fall out. Pastor Aiken is my family. That's the God's honest truth. It's in my autobiography. He and I didn't never have no fallout. That's not a I say that I'm making up. No, it's facts. He's family. So we wouldn't have never had no fallout because regardless of whether I show up there on a Sunday morning or not, he will always be exactly what he is, family. And those are facts. But I just don't like when people work. I work hard to build my name up in the kingdom. I don't necessarily work hard around the street. I work hard to build my name up in the kingdom. See, pay attention. Lots of times when I go in church, sometimes I don't tell the folk my name. Why? Because it ain't important why I'm there. I'm there to lift him up. I ain't there to lift my name up. I'm not in a position of I'm a pastor or anything, so I don't have to. There's no title in front of my name. There's no doctor in front of my name. It's sister, excuse me. And servant leader Felton, when he came here, said, we are all servants of the Most High God. I'm just a servant of the Most High God. My earthly name is important, but I ain't no prophetess, apostle, pastor, or bishop. I'm just a sister. That's it, that's all. And I said that with sincerity of heart. Because everywhere, if somebody needs my help, I'll pick up a broom if they need me to sweep. If I'm at their church and that's what they need. I don't never look too cute that I can't help. No, that's not true of me. Just because I put on some fancy dresses sometimes don't mean I won't grab no broom, because that's not true. If I have on something really fancy and it's going to get messed up, of course I ain't going to mess my clothes up. But if I ain't in that attire, any other time I will help you. So that's why a lot of times when people say stuff about me, I let it roll. I let it roll. When it's time for me to get dressed, like the other day to go somewhere important, I know how to put on clothes and look like I'm going to talk to somebody that's important. And when it's time for me to go to church, I know how to put church attire on and look like I belong to the king that I say that I serve. I might run back my picture ghetto so you see how I look when I go to church. Right. If Pastor Waller ain't never seen me dressed like that, it really doesn't matter. Plenty of people have seen me dressed up. It's just the one time that I dressed up over there, we fell out. It doesn't really matter. They can always say we ain't never see her. Right? Doesn't really matter. I got plenty of pictures. I might have to run them back and post them when you say something like that about me, because I don't know anybody ghetto that's mentally ill that can do what? Yeah, you went way too far. You went way too far. I'm just not going to. I'm going to stop talking right now, because what tends to happen with me is I get like a volcano, and I'm just not going to keep talking. I'm going to just post my pictures. I'm not, because see, ghetto has made me all the way angry. It doesn't matter whether those were just words, whether he thought I was telling a lie on his fat brother. You said the wrong thing at the wrong time, because you don't really know what's going on with me that you would say that. Hope you'll never in this life ever need nothing from me, ghetto. I'm going to say that real loud. I hope in this life that you don't ever need anything from me, that you don't need my help, and I hope I don't have to ever talk to you again, because you just did way too much. I can respect your choices and your differences. But if you didn't really know, you could have just asked me and I could have just told you. Your frat brother didn't tell you the truth, and he's allowed to do that. except for the fact that, right. So see, I'm not going to say too much more. My temperament, it doesn't always allow me to be calm when people say stuff about me because I'm human. I try not to go from 0 to 1,000. I passed 100. I well past 100. I had no intentions of running downstairs to get no Bible covers that's been sitting up there for months. Programs that's been sitting inside of a Bible cover for 10 years. Not at all. I walk past that stuff every day. So that, yeah, now, I'm going to end this live and look for some pictures of me all dressed up ghetto and show you what a lady who loves the Lord looks like. Uh-huh. And if I see you in chats, I'm not going to talk to you. The next time you're on the panel, I'm not going to say nothing else to you, ghetto. You went way too far there. You listen, I'm telling you, you will never come back from this with me, ever in this lifetime. You won't, because I don't play them type games. When you make me angry, you can just about forget it. And you can forget it.